Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this second part of Healthy Moments. It's good to be here, and this is produced by Larnaca Community Church to support our congregation through this time of crisis as we're unable to meet. I trust that you're all keeping safe and well, and I pray that this short meditation will be helpful for us. I would like to open today's moment with a quote from a clinical psychologist. I've quoted him before in my messages, Jordan Peterson. He said this: "When things break down, what has been ignored rushes in. When things are no longer specified with precision, the walls crumble, and chaos makes its presence known. When we've been careless and let things slide, what we have refused to attend to gathers itself up, adopts a serpentine form, and strikes, often at the worst possible moment. It is then that we see what focused intent, precision of aim, and careful attention protects us from." Healthy Moments is about our focused intent, primarily upon ourselves. It is about attending to my inner life of thought, emotion, and heart. And as a Christian pastor, I have found the truth of Scripture the most effective way to navigate to healthier places in my inner world. The Scriptures reveal everything we need to know about God and everything we need to know about ourselves. So when times of crisis hit, these are often the moments when we learn most about ourselves, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we are in unprecedented times, right? Presumed everyday permissible activities are now being denied. The preferences of individuals is suppressed for a greater need, the protection of whole populations. Freedom to travel even from our home has been suspended. And if we don't adjust well, then our homes can become prisons and our family our foes. Frustrations and fear will become the fuel of our thought life and emotion, and it will be unbearable if we are a prisoner in our own minds also. In truth, the present pathological pandemic rides on the back of another psychological pandemic, the state of mental health. So here's a question. How do we not give way to internal torment? Well, I think we need to get on the right side. And today, Joshua is our text, chapter 5, verse 13. Joshua is the successor from Moses. He's about to lead the people of God in a major battle. And he comes across this mysterious figure, the commander of the army of the Lord. And he asks him this question: "Are you for us, or are you for our adversaries?" And he said, "No, but I am the commander of the army of the Lord. Now I have come." Joshua was about to lead the battle. He comes across this prince, this commander, this mysterious figure. And effectively, this becomes Joshua's burning bush moment. It's a holy moment. An unexpected encounter with God, just as Moses had his. And the concluding instruction is the same as with Moses. Take off your sandals from your feet, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. In other words, Joshua's question to this mysterious commander was, are you on my side? Are you a friend? Or are you a foe? And it's common, isn't it, for us to want to seek out people that are on our side, who agree with us, especially when we feel wronged or have enemies. We're looking for allies, right? But to this question, the commander of the army simply says, no. How can God not be on the side of Joshua? He is, after all, the leader of God's people. But you know what? I think Joshua was asking the question to the wrong person. If this commander represented God's army, and he did, then he is effectively on the side of the qualities that reflect God. Qualities such as justice, kindness, humility, truth. And God doesn't have favorites. So the question to ask is, whose side is Joshua on? And more pertinent to us, whose side are we on? You see, God is not like a sports manager picking himself the best people, the best team. Incidentally, I remember at school when we used to have teams and there was a team leader, and the team leader used to pick from the group. I was always the last to get picked. I was only picked if there was no other choices, right? So I'm kind of glad God's not like that. But what God has given us is a choice to choose what? Justice, kindness, humility, truth. These choices actually align us with God and place us on his team. The religious people expected Jesus, God, to align himself with their traditions and their priorities. He did not. Truth is on no one's side. Think of it like this. Gravity is a physical, immovable law in this world, and it is impartial. We all experience the same force and consequence of its existence. And so Jesus said this, everyone who is of the truth listens to my voice. And he said that to Pilate. And Pilate responded with this question back. What is truth? And so Pilate, blinded by his own ego, he could not see the truth personified standing before him. And so for me, truth in the scriptures is like a roadmap for life. In fact, the psalmist said, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. We must rely on the scriptures as if without them we have no hope of navigating life well. We must constantly apply focused intent, correcting ourselves when we veer off course, repeatedly asking ourselves the question, whose side am I on with my words, with my thoughts, with my actions? Am I on God's side? Have I become a friend? Or am I a foe? Well, for today's prayerful meditation, I want to use verses from the Beatitudes to help us navigate from where we are and hopefully move us forwards and upwards towards God. So make sure then that you have silenced your devices that will distract you, that you are comfortable, warm, and have some time for yourself. And close your eyes and take some deep breaths just to relax. And begin to allow your body to rest. Sitting still in a natural breathing rhythm staying here in your body and in your mind. And we come to the scriptures. And Jesus said, you're blessed when you're at the end of your rope. With less of you, there is more of God and His rule. So in this moment, it's okay to admit defeat. It's okay to be honest. It's okay to know, to acknowledge that you've veered off course. Because by telling the truth, you place yourself on the side with God. Jesus said, you're blessed when you feel you've lost what is most dear to you. Only then can you be embraced by the one most dear to you. So in this moment, before God, begin the process of letting go of those things that are no longer within your reach. Things maybe you've loved, treasured, cherished. Regrets, perhaps, a loved one lost, finances or health. Begin to let go of these things that we can no longer reach out for and give up the fight with them and make peace with what you do have. Jesus said you're blessed when you're content with just who you are. No more, no less. That's the moment you find yourselves proud owners of everything that can't be bought. In part, our ability to stay in the moment, to stay focused, is to be satisfied with this moment, that it is enough for us and it's all I need right now. Just as Mary sat at Jesus' feet while Martha was busy, Mary was satisfied just being at the feet of her Lord. Can we be satisfied too, to stay, to take off the sandals, to take off the apron, and to sit at the feet of Jesus? Jesus said you're blessed when you've worked up a good appetite for God, His food and drink, and the best meal you'll ever eat. Often our appetite for God is increased, actually, by hardship, in suffering, because of failure. And so when we reach the end of ourselves, when we put our hands up and recognize we're not self-sufficient, this is the point where we can turn to God and know that we need something more than ourselves to make life work, to make our marriages work, to raise our children, to be a community example, to control our temper, to get out of bed in the morning. We actually need Him in every facet of our living, our breathing, our eating, our sleeping, our waking moments. We cannot do without Him. We're not supposed to be without Him. And so rather than the brave face, the digging in and just getting on with it, rather than that, choose these moments to come and be resourced. Because resourced you will be if you come. Jesus said, you're blessed when you care. At the moment of being careful, you find yourselves cared for. Yes, careful to love God, to pay attention to that, and careful to love our neighbour, to pay attention to that. These are hard commands, but in them is life. You're blessed when you get your inside world, your mind and heart put right. Then you can see God in the outside world. This is inner focused intent. This is what we're talking about. We know, we quote the scriptures. God does not look on the outward appearance. He didn't choose King David because of the outward exterior, because of his armor, because of his sword. He chose David because of his heart. It somehow captured God's heart. Somehow it reflected God's heart. And this is where we need to pay attention. Does our heart somehow reflect something of our Creator? Because if it does, then it will pour and bleed into every area of our living. But if it doesn't, what our heart represents will steer our words, it will guide our thoughts, it will be our motive, it will give us away. And so Jesus is saying, pay attention. Pay attention to your heart. You're blessed when you can show people how to cooperate instead of compete or fight. That's when you discover who you really are and your place in God's family. Yes. Choose in this moment to be on the side of God. Not even on the side of yourself. Not even on the side of your rights. But to let go. To live out the gospel of Christ, regardless whether anybody's paying attention to you or not. To let go of all your perceived entitlements and instead choose the truth. And lastly, you're blessed when your commitment to God provokes persecution. The persecution drives you even deeper into God's kingdom. Not only that, count yourselves blessed every time people put you down or throw you out or speak lies about you to discredit me, Jesus said. What it means is that the truth is too close for comfort and they are uncomfortable. You can be glad when that happens. Give a cheer even. For though they don't like it, I do, said Jesus. And all heaven applauds. And know that you are in good company. My prophets and witnesses have always gotten into this kind of trouble. These healthy moments will surely provoke resistance, visible or invisible. Recognize it, but continue with intent. Align yourself with God. But beware, only a few do, but everybody is invited to. I'm out of time in this live stream, but you can stay. And I would encourage you to stay, reflect with your own prayers, your own words to God. You don't need words necessarily, but if you have them, speak them. If not, just wait, just stay, just be still. And we'll be back here at Tuesday, 7 o'clock. And all the references, biblical, are in the detail of the video if you want them. So until next time, God bless you and God keep you.